Hello everyone, today we're going to represent our research methodology paper. Next. Here is our title, Holography Techniques and Methods for Atom Reconstruction in X-ray Imaging and its Successful Applications. Next. Abstract. X-ray holography has been increasingly used to access and reconstruct images of atomic structure with higher resolution. This paper aims to discuss the X-ray holography about its successful applications, its techniques and methods, and its process to reconstruct atomic structure. X-ray holography is proved to have significant potential to enable dynamic and accurate 3D microstructures visualizations. Next. Introduction. The beginning part of introduction is we discovered the holography by Gabor, and after it, we expand the works of holography in the next paragraph. After it, in the next paragraph, we also expand about X-ray holography and its advantages. In the last part of introduction, we expand about the goal and our focus to write this paper. The first goal is to analyze several successful applications of X-ray holography. The second is to identify the techniques and methods for developing X-ray holography. And the last is to analyze how atomic structure can be reconstructed using those techniques. Our focus to review this X-ray holography is for researchers and developers so that they can recapitulate the current state of X-ray holography. Next. The method we used is proposed by Kitchenham, and these are our research questions. The first is, what are the successful applications made using X-ray holography technology? The second is, what are the techniques and methods used in developing X-ray holography? And the last is, how is the atomic structure observed and reconstructed into the form of holography? Next. We use Google Scholar, Scopus, and IEEE as our search engine, and these are our queries. Next. These are our inclusion criteria, and next. These are our exclusion criteria. Next. The paper that we retrieve from our search queries, we include into the literature review table. There's 3 columns in our literature review table. These big columns are made based on the research questions, and each column has its own 3 sub-columns. These 3 sub-columns are made based on the most commonly used in the paper that we review. Next.
To discuss RQ1, 11 papers discussing the use of X-ray holography in medical field were obtained. Some of them are biological cells, human's body, and organs can be analyzed, resulting in a high resolution of the 3D image. This can be used to aid radiotherapy for cancer, perform tissue surgery, help repair the process of the heart, and detect moderate avascular tumor. COVID-19 impacts on the human body, especially on lungs, can also be analyzed. Heart X-ray tomography can generate 3D image of brain tissue that can support neuroscience research about brain damage. Besides in the medical field, X-ray holography is also implemented in the natural field, and 34 papers discussing the utilization in this field were obtained. With X-ray holography, the composition and structure of atoms, how the molecules move, and the patterns of the motion, and other things related to the materials can be studied. The dispersion, deformation, dislocation, pattern, and strain for atoms such as germanium, lithium, gold, bismuth, and others has been observed. On the other hand, X-ray holography is also used in the industrial field. A battery made from lithium has become a source of energy. It performs efficiently and is nature-friendly because of how its microstructure and electrochemical properties are altered. And X-ray nanoholography is utilized to observe the electrodes microstructure of the fuel cells. For labeling RQ2, 3 commonly used X-ray holography techniques were found. The first one is X-ray fluorescence holography, and it was introduced by Gabor and has been a technique of resulting atom in holography that makes use of atoms that fluoresce as a source of wave and to detect if there is an interferencing field in the crystal. The second one is X-ray nanoholotomography. It is another method to construct 3D holography imaging that uses radiation technology as its base technique. This X-ray holography technique is considered non-destructive. And the last one is X-ray photoelectron holography. It has been a recently developed technique that has the capability of visualizing an atom structure in real space. It is used along with X-ray photoelectron diffraction. The combination of these 2 techniques will result in an imaging of an atom structure. To discuss RQ3, the process of reconstructed holography into atomic structure were reviewed. The frequently used technique to construct atom structure is using lensless axis geometry. The sample to be reconstructed is placed at the back of the object hole rigorously so that the defect can be avoided. The beam will transmit through the holes and will create an absorption, resulting in a diffraction onto the crystal throughout the process of transmission. The beams that are diffracted will create an interference pattern, which is the hologram, and that will be recorded by a camera. The reconstruction of the structure will be calculated using autocorrelation.
And the next part is the chapter for discussion. First thing we will discuss is the successful applications of holography in X-ray imaging, which is related to RQ1. X-ray holography has been applied in various fields. The first one is medical field. X-ray holography has been used to provide 3D image guidance to support mere 2D image guidance. It also provides higher density resolution compared to CT scan. Next. Second one is the material field. X-ray holography has been utilized to capture the three-dimensional atomic structure to gain more information about properties of materials. Next. Last one we will discuss is its application in industrial field. X-ray holography has been used to develop lithium batteries as a more environmentally friendly alternative to lead-acid batteries. With X-ray holography, the microstructure of the electrode materials can be studied to optimize its potential. Next. The next thing we will discuss is holography techniques and methods along with its applications, which is related to RQ2. The first technique we discuss is the X-ray fluorescence holography, or XFH, which allows one to build a three-dimensional atomic picture around certain elements producing fluorescent X-rays. It uses Barden algorithm and scattering pattern extraction using maximum entropy algorithm to construct 3D images. It has been used to detect impurities. And foreign items position in atomic crystals, support doctors to diagnose and treat patients properly, and verify possible radiation-induced structural changes in a cell. Next. The next technique is X-ray nanoholotomography, and it has been used to build a 3D architecture of the peripheral nerve tissue, visualize 3D structure of nerve, crystals, eggshell, and pine pollen at high resolution. Next. The last technique we will discuss is X-ray photoelectron holography, which will produce the diffraction pattern, which must be transformed to obtain the position of atoms in 3D space. So it has to be combined with X-ray photoelectron diffraction to produce a set of atomic 3D locations. It has been used to develop quantum computers and spin field effect transistors. Next. The last thing we will discuss is the process of reconstructing atomic structure into holography, which is related to RQ3. Here is a diagram that shows the process of reconstruction of hologram. First off, we have the X-ray fluorescence holography, or XFH. It records interference pattern of two beams and uses Barden or scattering pattern extraction algorithm. It constructs a 3D hologram by irradiating specimen with X-ray that is scattered by atoms that will result in a hologram. The next one is a X-ray nanoholotomography that combines holographic and tomographic reconstruction and uses the Fresnel diffraction model. It constructs a 3D hologram by recording interference pattern based on Fresnel diffraction model. 3D image will be rebuilt using tomography. Last one is X-ray photoelectron holography, which has to be combined with X-ray photoelectron diffraction and scattering pattern extraction algorithm to be able to translate the 2D pattern of atoms produced by XPD into information of atoms' position in 3D space. Next. And last chapter is the conclusion. So it can be concluded that X-ray holography has many benefits and a variety of uses in the medical, material, and industrial field. These X-ray holography techniques include X-ray fluorescence holography, X-ray nanoholotomography, and X-ray photoelectron holography. X-ray holography still has a lot of room for improvement so that high-resolution images of atomic structure with more information can be required. This can be done when X-ray holography techniques are combined with more optimal algorithms in the future. That is all for our presentation. Thank you for paying attention.